Hello everyone. I welcome you all to this session. Myself G. Sharmila, Assistant Professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Karpagam College of Engineering. In our last session, we saw about the introduction part of an XML and rules of XML to create a well-formed XML document, right? So in this session, we will see about XML DTD. So this is mainly used for validating our XML document. DTD. DTD stands for a document type definitions. It allows you to create a rules for the element within your XML document. Although XML itself has the rules defined in a DTD are specific to your own needs. So a DTD defines the structure and the legal elements and the attribute of an XML document. So the XML document with the correct syntax is called as a well-formed XML document, right? As we discussed in our last session. So XML document should follow all the syntax rules. So an XML document validated against a DTD is both well-formed and valid. What is DTD? DTD stands for a document type definitions. So it defines the structure and the legal element and the attribute of an XML document. When we can say the XML document is a valid document. A valid XML document is a well-formed XML document only if it follows all the rules of a XML document as well as it conforms to the rules of a DTD. This is the syntax of a DTD. So the syntax includes open and close angular bracket starting with an exclamatory symbol. Element is a keyword, everything should be in caps, and the element name and the content model. Here I have an example for a DTD syntax. So the same, the open and close angular bracket start with the exclamatory mark, element keyword, everything in caps. Here the element name is demo and the content I have used is welcome to XML. This is the basic syntax of DTD, the syntax of a element in a DTD. The types of a DTD. There are two types of DTD. One is internal DTD and another one is external DTD. So internal DTD is nothing but we can define our DTD rules in our own XML document itself. It is called internal DTD. External DTD is nothing but we can create our own DTD file in a separate document. With the help of a DTD file, it should be saved as .dtd file. Okay, with the help of that DTD file, we can create our XML document. So, with the help of the DTD file name, we can include this file in our own XML document. That is called external DTD. Let's see about what is internal DTD. So, the following example demonstrates internal DTD. So, for the DTD, we want to include a syntax. For the internal DTD, we want to include this following syntax. So, as like an element syntax, we want to include a open and close angular bracket, exclamatory symbol, and the keyword which we want to use here is doc type. DOCTYPE, doc type. And we want to include the root element, that is the topmost element is called a root element, and all the sub elements should be declared inside the square bracket, and we want to close that angular bracket. This is the syntax of an internal DTD. So here I have a program for an internal DTD. So first line is a prologue. In order to include a feature to your XML document, we want to include this prologue. Here I have included the features called standard1 is equal to yes. Next I have included syntax of DTD. So the syntax of DTD, internal DTD is angular bracket, exclamatory, the keyword doc type, and authors is nothing but that is a root element and all the sub-element which should be included inside the square bracket. So I have opened the square bracket. Inside that I have included all my sub-element. Here the sub-elements are author, name, nationality and footers. So till that it is the sub-elements. I will tell you what is the entity. So the sub-elements should be defined as a PC data. So PC data is nothing but it is a passable character data. It is a character based element. So that is why I have defined it as a PC data. First one, author defines that the author element must contain the element name. Next one is the name element defines the element of type PC data. So nationality, it defines the element of type PC data, as well as the footers is also an element. It also defines the PC data, passable character data. So we can also include the entity to our XML in DTD. It means that entity, wherever the content we want to include repeatedly, it can be given as an entity. So here I have an entity name called footer. Footer is singular. There in the top I have a element called footers, that is a plural element. So here with the name of singular footer I have included as an entity name. This is an entity name and the content which we want to include is welcome to XML. Wherever I want this content welcome to XML, I can call this content with the help of a entity name called footer. So you can name it as whatever you want. Here I have named it as footer. Okay, and I am closing the square bracket as well as the angular bracket. So next I have included the basic XML elements, or here the topmost elements are authors and the sub-elements are author, name, nationality and footers. And here in the second element I have included an attribute called book type is equal to classical. It means that in order to define our element, I have included this attribute. It is called as attribute. Book type is an attribute name and the attribute value is classical. So, and the sub-element of author is name, sub-element of name is nationality, and the final last element is footers, which is the sub-element of nationality, and finally I am closing the root element. Author, as well as you want to close the root element also, authors. So here I have included one more record. After that I am closing that root element. So I have included two records here. This is the example for internal DTD. So next I have included the external DTD. So external DTD is also a doc type with DTD will be placed as a separate file. This DTD file will be saved as a separate file with .dtd exception. So elements and tags will be accessed by the XML file from the DTD file. The syntax is the same as like that of internal DTD. Exclamatory, doc type is a keyword, root element. Here we want to include one more keyword as system, everything in caps. In order to include your DTD file, we want to include this keyword called system. This is the syntax of external DTD. So example of external DTD is, first we want to create a .dtd file. So it is based on your XML file. So I have created an element. The root element is employee. Inside that we want to include all the sub-elements. So inside the parenthesis, open and close parenthesis. So employee is the topmost root element and all the sub-elements of first name, last name and email. So everything is passable character data types. So the type of the sub-elements of PC data, that is possible character data. So here comes the XML document. So I have included the prologue in first line. Second line I have included the doc type. Employee is a root element. We want to include a system. If we want to call our external DT file, we want to include this keyword called system, and with the help of the external DTD file name, that is employee.dtd is our external DTD file. So I have mentioned here, right, employee.dtd. I am just calling this DTD file in our next XML file, employee.dtd. So under that I have included our as usual XML document. Employee is the root element and the sub element first name. I have included a name called Vimal, and the last name I have included a name called Ajay, and the email ID of Vimal is vimal@gmail.com. And finally, I am closing our root element called employee. This is a simple example of external DTD. So I think you got a clear idea about DTD, what is internal DTD and external DTD. So in our next session, I will see you with a different topic. Thank you all.